you're going to do 3. In my design practice, I do this all the time. I usually come down to a final 3 design directions that have a range, you know, like far out, very conservative, and something in between, or some kind of a range of 3 different design directions that we pick. A lot of times I bring the client in on that selection. We pick one for the final development. So what I want you to do is 3 renderings, and I'm throwing a bunch of skills at you. All 3 of them, there are 3 different designs of your vacuums, and they all 3 need to have a person in there. Again, I drew the vacuum too tall. So you guys have to watch out for that. You don't do that. The person gives a scale to let you see how big the vacuum cleaner is. It also gives context, like how is this product used? And then you're going to do a vignette. But this is a new kind of vignette that you haven't done before, although it's a little bit like the motorcycle backgrounds, where you're going to take a scene, a photograph from the internet or somewhere that looks like, you know, probably an interior design theme. And that becomes the vignette, and that gives context. It's like, oh, this is a vacuum cleaner that somebody would use in their house. It's not a shop vac. You know, so you're giving scale and context. And you're using those devices also to create the composition, you know, and the focal point and the contrast. And we'll show you some examples, but I don't have examples of this vacuum cleaner assignment. I have examples of some furniture here done in that way. So this doesn't have a person in it. I'm asking you to put a person in it. But it does have a good example of using a photograph to give context, and it's also a vignette that sets off the product. These are kind of not all direct. This doesn't have a photograph in the background, so it's not exactly like the assignment I gave you, but it does have a person to give scale. So that's actually not a photograph. It's, I guess, a drawing that was done over a photograph. It's okay with me if you want to find something a little bit more abstract like that, as long as it gives context. The drawing is tight, but still energetic. It's not so tight that it looks like a photograph or that it loses its energy. There's still line weight changes going on there. There's good gradations. This also doesn't have a photograph, but it has a person. That's a nice example of a photograph being used as a vignette, and a person to give scale. The person can be a silhouette like this, or it can be an outline, or it can be a photograph. It's up to you. But I want 3 of these, and they should all be done in pretty much the same way. You don't want your background presentation to be so different that it's distracting from the product. The products, all three should be different, but you want to use a similar presentation. You don't want to look like three different people did it. Okay, what's on D2L? Because I keep changing these assignments up a little bit. So this one, it's a nice example of using a photograph in the background, but the person is giving scale, in this case, as part of the photograph. That's not what I want you to do. I want you to put the person using your vacuum cleaner. But this is showing that it's an iron. So this one, they use a photograph for the vignette, and they used a separate little drawing of the product to give scale. They did the same thing here. So that's a really nice background vignette. It's not, you don't want the vignette to be so energized that it detracts from your vacuum cleaner. You might need to suppress it. This vignette looks like the opacity has been turned down on that photograph to get it to go back into the background but still be there. I think this one was, yeah, see the opacity's been turned way down on this, which helps it becomes an effective vignette but still gives context. I'm really proud of this particular person, Sarah. She was one of my grad students. She came to grad school with a degree in physics from Stanford and somehow turned herself into a really great designer. I think that's the best examples I'm going to be able to give you. Put that together with what I showed you on the whiteboard. You want to take 3 good designs of your vacuum cleaners, pretend like you're showing it to a client when you get back from vacation, and these are your final 3 directions, and you and the client are going to pick the one that goes all the way into production. So these. Are
you our client? Pretty much.
Yeah, I'm your client.
Do we get paid?
You get paid? Yeah, you get a grade or not. Well, I'm here. This is some more of Sarah's work. I told you about her.
Was it like a flexible flat pack type thing?
Chair, yeah. She used her knowledge of physics she claimed there's some material that when you spray it with a chemical it'll become rigid, so it's shipped flat and then you bend it and bolt it together and then you spray it with this stuff and it becomes rigid.
She came up with this chemical?
No, she said it's something that exists. What?
Nitrile material?
I don't know. Don't remember. But this is kind of like one of the final presentation you guys did at midterm, and you're going to do it again at the end of this project. You see the preliminary concepts across the bottom.
Oh, dang, that's a lot.
Secondary concepts. Here's her final 3 right here. This one, and this one are her final 3. And she did pretty much the same assignment that I'm asking you to do. Maybe I could even find those renderings. And then she's got an explanatory view, which I'm going to ask you to do. When you're drawing these final 3, remember you're going to have to pick one, and you're going to have to explain how the vacuum cleaner works on that one with the explanatory view. That means you have to explain if there's a vacuum cleaner bag that you have to change, you have to be able to show how you change that. You have to explain how you turn it on and off. You have to explain if it tilts, how it tilts. So keep that stuff in mind when you're drawing these final three. One of those will end up being fully explained, the selected one. This is explanatory drawing I did once when I was out in the field, explaining how batteries can get changed on electric vehicles. It's called a juice station, in case you didn't pick that up. This is an explanatory view I did when I was designing the Caltrain, explaining how the air conditioning ducts work and the lighting works, although that got changed a little bit, how the interior panels get attached to the structure. At this point in time, we're going to have little waste bins in the wall. That's what this is down here in the corner. The heaters.
So just to be clear, this next three that we're drawing, they can be completely new designs. They don't have to be taken from the concept page that we just put up today. Or?
It'd be better if they were taken, or at least developments of your concepts. So if you use it in your portfolio, you can show the development process from ideas to three of them being developed further, selected and developed further, and then later one of them will be selected. Finished. Okay. Los vamos.